Okay, everyone. Thanks once again for joining us for today's webinar, where we will discuss the design, specification, and installation process, how to do that, to deliver an HDCP 2.2 compliant video distribution system into your house of worship customers and applications. This webinar rather, will focus especially on our product, brand new release, KD Pro 8x8D, but also touch on the other needs of the houses of worship, how KeyDigital's product offering complements the Pro 8x8D to deliver that to your clients. So again, thanks for joining us. This webinar should take about 30 minutes for the presentation part, and then we have a Q&A session. So we do want you to submit your questions. Please do submit them throughout the presentation. However, we, for the most part, will be holding on to those questions until the very end of the presentation, so as to kind of have all the questions come in at once. We hope you understand. And we have had great success with this format for the webinar, and it really created an environment where everybody was where the questions were flowing in. And I think if it's on your mind, it's going to be on someone else's mind as well, so please do not be shy. Submit your questions using the GoToMeetings panel that should be docked on your screen, or to our Twitter account at KeyDigital HQ. So, beginning with a needs analysis of House of Worship audiovisual installations. Number one is you got to create an appropriate prayer and worship experience. So, what might that mean, inappropriate? Well, there's certainly varying levels of technology and just how present that technology may be in these houses of worship, from a simplistic application that just delivers the necessities of ensuring that all the people attending the services are able to see and hear clearly. Challenges of integrating in old hard surfaces where the natural acoustics may be very good, however, perhaps not so friendly for installing modern technology, all the way up to a full arena-style house of worship, mega church, if you will, complete with audio, video, and LED lighting. So it could really vary. But one thing's for sure, video certainly helps deliver that message in the house of worship, helps to welcome the attendees, helps to organize and give people a sense of direction if they're perhaps not familiar with where to go, and is more important now than ever, where audio has many more options now than ever and at better price points than ever before. And KeyDigital's Compass control system offers a full control system for beyond just the audio and video, but an all-in-one place where lighting and thermostat can be controlled in addition to audio, video, security, and more, all controlled on an iPad, an iOS device, or even an Android device. With KeyDigital's Compass control system, you're able to minimize the requirements for operators, as we'll see in some of the actual demos of installation video case studies that we'll show in today's presentation. So when collecting the needs analysis for the video side of things especially, we at KeyDigital like to break it down into the top 5 system design questions. And when you look at these things, essentially this is the peripherals, the outsides of your system. If you are to draw this out as a signal flows, either from left to right or top to bottom, however you draw that, this is the outside. And let KeyDigital system design team put together the middle of all of our AV equipment, all of our recommended Compass Alliance partner devices, so that you can have a factory stamp of approval for operability and functionality. Let us design the system in order to meet the best price possible as you may need. Express that to us, and we'll be able to meet those needs for you. We'll get into that a little bit more here in the presentation, but very important, jot this down now. SDG, System Design Group, that stands for sdg@keydigital.com is the email address you reach out to us at. Within 2 business days, we're able to return to you a system design with page 1, a signal flow chart, and that is very easy to understand, something that could even be used as a very useful and very effective tool during your presentation. Page 2 is a bill of materials with KeyDigital models and quantities, so that all goes well during your presentation, and it will. You can send that equipment list over to your KeyDigital sales representative and get that ball moving. So let's start with the distributed video in houses of worship. Analyzing the needs as we see with this system design here. Sources, how many and what are they? Well, the client may tell you, well, we want the ability to push Apple TV because we are embracing AirPlay here at the house of worship. There will be a PC computer. Perhaps there is a laptop that plugs in at the podium, IP cameras, auditorium feed, right? So you collect each of these video sources and itemize how many for each. Audio sources as well. In addition to, or perhaps some of these video sources will be audio sources as well. Some of them will not. What are they and how many? The displays, the endpoints, they're able to tell you. Well, we'll have the reference monitor on the stage, and we'll have a left monitor and a right monitor flanking our projector, and then we have an overflow room. So they're able to tell you where they want to be able to view the content and what is the content, the video sources. And again, that's just like our system design group there. You collect that information, what is on the outside of this design, and our system design group can put together the middle for you in order to achieve that system. What is the furthest distance from the equipment location to the furthest display? If you know them all, great. That will enable you to actually build the most cost-effective system. But if you at least can collect the furthest, then we'll be able to spec the maximum required extender set to achieve what is needed. And resolution. Sure, some houses of worship may want the latest and greatest. However, their budget may not be able to afford that with 4K resolutions, or perhaps they can, and if they can, then wonderful. But KeyDigital also has systems that can achieve this in 1080p and also achieve a lower price point as such. So we look in this system, and they were able to go with an HDMI HD-based matrix. They used our audio de-embedders for the video sources to be feeding an audio DSP matrix mixer from a Compass Alliance partner, DBX by Harman, and to feed the power amplifiers for each of their audio zones. And they're able to control the system from an iOS device, regardless of where they are in their house of worship. The device travels portably. We have a lighting control system by Lutron in here as well. KeyDigital supports HomeWorks Radio Raw 2 with full bidirectional control, but also even supports simple one-way control for some of the other Lutron systems as well. So today's method of achieving this distributed video system will be with HDMI and HD-Base-T. We'll showcase an all-in-one matrix system for HDMI and HD-Base-T. Brand new release, as I mentioned, the KD Pro 8x8D, which is going to be able to deliver up to 4K resolution, 10.2 gigabits per second bandwidth, uncompressed. There will be absolutely zero AV latency, which is a factor you must consider with some of the alternative methods of video distribution systems, such as AV over IP, which KeyDigital does offer as well. There's an input and output maximum of 8x8. However, there will be mirrored output options that we'll detail. And it's a way of establishing a system, which I would say is a small to medium type system at a very cost-effective price point, all in one. However, with HDMI, HD-Base-T, as compared to AV over IP, it does become more expensive beyond 8x8 systems. Whereas KeyDigital's 1080p AV over IP system, which we do have on our website, is a way of going larger than 8x8 at perhaps a more cost-effective price point. You can reach out to our system design service and have both options detailed to you. And here are detailed drawings of the KD Pro 8x8. It's the 8x8 video matrix, which includes 2 long-range receive extenders and 6 short-range receive extenders. Those receive extenders do not require local power. They collect their power from the video matrix at the head end. It's a very nice feature. There is simultaneously active HDMI and HD-Base-T on each of the 8 outputs, giving you a total of 16 live outputs. So imagine at the stage delivering the sermon, you can have a local stage monitor without having to look over the shoulder to see what's up on the screen of the projector, or the left and right monitors perhaps showing the same, a left monitor or a right monitor showing the same as the stage center, utilizing those mirrored outputs. You're able to do so without additional equipment. Or perhaps send the main stage presentation to an overflow room without additional equipment and without any additional headaches, worries of handshaking. Perhaps needing a local monitor at the operator station. You're able to do that thanks to the mirrored outputs, simultaneously active HDMI and HD-Base-T. As we mentioned, there are 2 long-range outputs that deliver 4K video at 100 meters, close to 330 feet, or 1080p at 500 feet. So perhaps your system does not require 4K. However, there are a few very long runs in the system. We may still specify the KD Pro 8x8D, since the native long-range outputs, those are outputs 1 and 5. So we show that on the teal squares on outputs 1 and 5 for a reason, because those are your long-range outputs. The silkscreen says so. Where 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 are your short-range outputs, delivering 4K at 70 meters, or 1080p, or excuse me, 38 meters rather, and 1080p at 61 meters, 200 feet, 125 feet at 4K. There is audio de-embedding on each and every output of the KD Pro 8x8D. You have digital supporting 2-channel and up to Dolby 6.1, Dolby DTS 6.1, so not HD formats, but surround formats are supported on the digital connector, and analog supporting 2-channel only, but able to connect on a balanced or unbalanced. So if you want positive, minus, and ground, or plus only and ground, you could do so. The output audio de-embedding works by following the selected video source for each output. So we see in our example here, if we have an Apple TV connected into input 1, and our output number 7 display is selecting that Apple TV, then of course that's the video and audio that's going to that display. And the output audio connectors, de-embed connectors, are also providing the audio of that Apple TV. So it is not a mixer, and it is not it's not a de-embed of the input. It follows the output. So keep that in mind in your design criterion. If you need a mixer, we do have Compass Alliance partners that offer that. And there is no format conversion, so if you want 2-channel audio to come out on the analog audio connectors to feed into your distributed audio system, then your video sources, HDMI video and audio sources, should be providing a 2-channel audio format. And that's no problem at all with KeyDigital's EDID control. Our handshaking will tell the source to output 2-channel audio. You'll just have to set that. Not a problem at all documented in the documentation, the owner's manual, for that product, and in other training modules where we go into more depth with that. However, there is some really great signal processing features for each and every output. You have volume control, muting control, you have lip sync delay up to 150 milliseconds. You have bass, mid, and treb 3-band EQ, and balance control on each and every output. So essentially the KD Pro 8x8D handles all of the preamp functionalities for your system so that you can save a lot of money by just feeding basic power amps as opposed to intelligent amplifiers with all of the DSP features built in. This really does become an all-in-one solution. And beyond the HDMI, beyond the HD base T, beyond the audio de-embedding of the output, or even the audio return channel feature that this supports, and again, there is more details available. Certainly the audio return channel feature is very cool, however, perhaps not applicable to a house of worship, so we're not going into much depth with this. But beyond all of those features, you also have a built-in control system with the KD Pro 8x8D. This is a 35-port control system where you have 11 control I/O ports, 9 which are IR, bidirectional RS-232 or voltage triggers. You have 2 3-pin relays. You have your 8 HD base T receives, 2 short range or 2 long range and 6 short range that are IR or RS-232, voltage triggering as well. And you could use the 8 HDMI inputs and the 8 HDMI outputs with the KD IQ Jump 12 FM, so that's an additional 16 ports when you purchase the KD IQ Jump 12 FMs as a means of embedding IR, RS-232 and voltage onto the HDMI cables. So it can become a very clean solution, a single wire solution to your connected sources and displays, enabling you to take that iPad, and control all of these devices. In fact, this design, I should take a moment here because this design is a little bit incorrect. So let's get this back up now with the with the correction made. Here we are. where you use the KD Pro 8x8D as a master controller. No need for an external processor at all. Of course, it does work with and it is controllable by third-party control systems, and it can complement those third-party control systems as well, as documented in the operation manual. But we see here video sources, video displays, audio systems, and of course we know lighting and more, also all controllable within a single app with KeyDigital's Compass control system. So you have a total of 35 IR, RS-232 or voltage controlled devices, in addition to essentially an unlimited amount of TCP/IP controlled devices with KeyDigital's Compass control system. And that's in addition to the HDMI, HD-Base-T, and audio, delivering that all-in-one solution with this product. Very, very cool product, brand new, as I mentioned. And before we go into the audio system, I'd like to just show you exactly where you go, keydigital.com, and you could see here the KD Pro 8x8D, all of the features if you'd like to research more, including our information on the audio return channel supported feature, all of the application diagrams, specifications. Here we are, application example. So KeyDigital's website is set up to make it pretty easy for you. Just go to the product page, go to features and specs. You can pull in this operation manual where you can find more information on KD Pro 8x8D. So you'll notice a lot of those images may look familiar. Now let's take a look at the audio systems for houses of worship. Some of those requirements. Well, you can essentially satisfy the requirements, the needs of your customer in one of two ways with your audio distribution system. It may just require a simple matrix where you can send a single audio source to a zone. Perhaps it's the microphone mix. Perhaps it's music. KeyDigital ourselves manufacture an audio matrix, KD-MAX 8x8. We also have Compass Alliance partners, Audio Control, Ashley, Biamp, Bose, DBX, and Symmetrix, and more. We're looking here at one of the modules of the Ashley partner product. And here we have the mixer. Now, so what's the difference between a matrix and a mixer? A matrix just sends a single source to a zone. However, a mixer allows you to have a mix of your audio inputs to your various audio zones. And that may be more applicable in a house of worship, where you may need the microphone mixed in with the audio, right? And it may need to be different mix levels per audio destination, per audio zone. So this is all about collecting your audio sources and your audio zones, isn't it? Some of these products that you see on your left are fully open architecture products, enabling you to totally build your mixes how you need per audio output, per audio zone, if you will, or even enabling a simplistic audio matrix only functionality. KeyDigital's Compass Alliance partnership has been formed with the leaders in the category so that you could find a product that fits the needs of your customer and also fits the budget of your application. And yet, some of these modules even support the preset creation so that seemingly advanced features and advanced configurations can be called within a single button press. For more information on our compass control system, you go to KeyDigital.com, and in the top right corner of our website, you see Login, where you can sign up to create your own user profile. And after you receive the notice, you can take your Compass Level 1, Level 1 Plus, Level 2, and Level 3 trainings online, free of charge. Or you can find out information about our in-house trainings. The next training is March 20th through 23rd, and you could register there. And you could even go through our bidirectional module listing so that we can take a look at the interface screens or watch a YouTube video of the module in action, where you can see the control levels available for all those partner products. Again, that's at KeyDigital.com using the compass control drop down at the top of the screen, or go to Login. Now, we'd like to show you a real-life example, a real-world example of KeyDigital's video and control systems installed on site at a house of worship. And most importantly, you'll hear the installer and the client discuss their needs analysis and how compass control was the right fit for their system. So don't just take it from me, take it from the real world here.
Hi, I'm Aaron Catlin with Sound Design and Innovation. This is their traditional sanctuary. It's about a 750 seat room, all in traditional seating, pews, all hard surfaces, very...
Okay, pardon me. We're going to rewind here just to the introduction once again because we had a technical difficulty. Sorry about that. Here we go. Sorry, give a moment while this buffers.
Hi, I'm Aaron Catlin with Sound Design and Innovation. We're standing in Northside United Methodist Church. This is their traditional sanctuary. It's about a 750 seat room, all in traditional seating, pews, all hard surfaces, very, not exactly a user-friendly environment for modern technology. So we have done an upgrade in this room, and what we've done here is we added a much more modern PA system and a much more modern video and lighting system to allow this room to be used for a much larger variety of applications. Typically, it would take one or at least two operators to run a room this size with all this equipment. What we've done though is we've actually added KeyDigital's compass system. So now for small events like weddings and funerals and stuff like that, or something where the pastor just needs to come in and do a Bible study in here, or something like that, and all these things happen here. This is a pretty active church. They can literally just come in and push a button. The system even has the ability to call up presets on the audio console, and we're actually in the process of interfacing with the lighting system right now. We're in the chapel at Northside United Methodist Church, and we're going to show you a little bit about what we've done with the compass control system in here. We've also got Alan Morrison, who is the technical director here at the church, and Alan headed up the project from the church's end when we built the systems. So you can see we've got an iPad mini sitting here, and with this project, Alan really wanted the interface to resemble what Apple has done with the newer iOS 7 types of interfaces. So we've gone with a lot of light, coloring, and it's actually a good example as far as uses of graphics of what the system for Compass is really capable of, because we can change any button to any image to anything, and it makes a really cool interface. So what we've done here is when you hit the on button, it takes a minute because it runs through all the power up commands for the system. But then we have a very simple touch menu that goes along with it. So when you touch video, it brings up some options. If you go to video sources, the source options comes up. And when you touch one of those, it switches the video input and the audio follows it. But if you hit the audio button, it takes us to all the audio options. Now, we have a lot more audio options. Some of these are mutes, some of these are source selects. And we have two different options for faders. People who just want to control volume and people who actually want to control independent levels. We're getting all of this up and running with an Allen Heath GLD80. And yes, the control system actually does move the faders on the console, which is wicked cool. To take it a step further, we can even move the screens up and down and turn the projectors on and off as well. And that's pretty basic stuff for a control system. But basically, we have multi-zone control in this building, in the sanctuary, in the chapel, and we're hoping to add it to their Faith and Arts Center, which is their contemporary room. And we can do it all from a very simplified app on an iPad, or even an iPhone if we want to do it that way. And there's very little in this building that can't be controlled technology-wise from this system.
What we really wanted to do with this version of the app was, we have a lot of people who don't know anything about technology here. So they don't know that you might have two different video sources that could run against each other, or audio sources that might be coming in linked with the video sources. So we wanted to make it incredibly easy for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to pick the Apple TV and have the audio automatically go live on that. But they might think, well, wait, I want to turn the audio up. Then they're obviously going to, out of these choices, they're going to think, well, that's on sound. And if the default setting comes up and all they see is volume, they're going to want to grab this and turn it up. It's going to be incredibly easy for them to think about turning up and down the fader control, not in a way that we would think about it, like in faders and different actual inputs. They're just going to see one fader and go, oh yeah, but they see, oh, I can change my sound to the HDMI sound, and it actually changes the sound from Apple TV to HDMI without having for them to think about muting and unmuting multiple channels.
It's about as easy of an interface as you could come up with. And Alan, and I got to be honest, we're the installer and the programmer, and we do this stuff, but this time the interface was all Alan's idea. It was a really good one. So he spent hours creating the graphics for us, and we just imported them. And it was easy.
Even down to like simplified things like on powers on the system. We don't need to think about, let's go to the chapel, let's power everything on. It just turns on everything that they would want to use.
And off turns it off.
When you want to turn it off, you hit power, you turn it off. And the other buttons aren't enabled until you actually need them. So you're not going to be pushing something that you don't need to push when there's nothing going on. So that's what we'll see. Chapel and then sanctuary will eventually be here. Hopefully our other room will eventually be right here. You'll just select the room, power it on, and then be good to go.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, thank you guys very much for watching that video with us. And I do understand that the video is probably not as fluid as if you were watching it on your own computer, but that's easy enough to do. You just go to KeyDigital.com once again, and you can see our YouTube, all of our social networking type icons at the top of the screen there. LinkedIn is a very good one, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you see our YouTube. Just click that YouTube icon. It brings you right into our YouTube page, where you have different playlists or videos by themselves, including trade show highlights, past webinars, and more. So you could see how the needs analysis for the client needed a convenient system. Well, the GUI was completely customizable. That made it very convenient and very easy to use. It's really all on them, isn't it? You can't argue with the customer. And this customer had a very hands-on approach. They analyzed what all devices were needed to be controlled. Some were KeyDigital, but others were from other manufacturers, weren't they? For example, the Allen and Heath mixing console, and of course, as you mentioned, Compass Control really fit the price point needed. And here you could look at many of the partners of the Compass Alliance partners. They're also located on our website, so you could find the right product, the right match for your system. And it's also important to know, though, however, that KeyDigital also has our own iOS control app that only controls the KeyDigital devices on your network. So if you want to just control your video switching, you're able to do it with the KeyDigital app. This is separate from Compass Control. You could go to the App Store and download, or just search KeyDigital. You'll see it there with the K icon there. And it's really cool because you're actually able to control or to even set friendly names for each input and output. Some of our video over IP systems support video streaming feature into the app as well. So that's a really nice plus. But the difference between KeyDigital app and the Compass Control app is simply one only controls KeyDigital, the other can control everything. So is this going to be one app amongst many, or do you want, as the KeyDigital app can be, or do you need one app to rule them all so they don't have to hop around? And certainly depending on budget, some houses of worship are happy to go from one app to the next if need be. So with that said, we're going to allow you guys to submit your questions using the GoToMeetings panel there. Please feel free to do so. Like I said, if it's on your mind, it's probably on someone else's mind as well. So go ahead, use that GoToMeeting panel or the Twitter feed at KeyDigital HQ to tweet your questions our way, and we'll read them to the class here shortly. Okay, everyone. Well, funny enough, I don't see any questions have been submitted, which could mean that I've addressed all the questions, perhaps that you have, or perhaps you'll think of one later in the day. And if you do, you just submit it over to tech@keydigital.com. That's our tech support email address. Again, tech@keydigital.com. And you'll have a knowledgeable team member respond to you. Now, what next? Don't forget our system design service that is available to you free of charge for all of our partners. Just give us answers to the top 5 questions. What are the sources, or what kind of content do they want to distribute? What are the displays, or how many? The distances for each display, or at least the furthest distance, 1080p or 4K resolution, and control, meaning are we controlling other things via the Compass control system? Are we controlling just from the KeyDigital app? Or is the KeyDigital product going to be controlled by a third-party control system? We do have no problem with that as well. In fact, we love all of our third-party control system manufacturer partners. You email those details over to sdg@keydigital.com for that system design to be turned around within 2 business days and sent your way. Where, again, page 1, what we see on the left, sources, itemized, displays, very clear. This system, for example, looks like a bar restaurant where they had 8 DirecTV receivers, a computer, an IP camera, a karaoke system, a signage computer, and an auxiliary HDMI input. So 13 video sources actually, and 18 displays, independent displays, plus a 2x2 video wall. So, there's going to be many different curveballs you could throw at us here. And although we focused on just a few KeyDigital products today, just know that we do have the full breadth of products to design that system for you. Page 2, equipment list, models, and quantities, so that, again, the client can look at page 1 and say, okay, now I understand this technology thing and how, how important it is to invest the appropriate amount of money into this system, and you could use it as your purchase order to submit to your KeyDigital sales rep. Reach out to sales@keydigital.com for those purchase orders or sales inquiries. Tech@keydigital.com for technical support and product questions. System design and pre-sales type questions can go to sdg@keydigital.com. We're available 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. And we also have offices in Europe and in India. So we certainly appreciate you guys being with us once again. I'd like to leave you with a final note to consider when designing your next project. We want to wish you all a happy new year and a successful 2018 as well. Have a great rest of the day.